This is AUGforums.com Real Talk. First, thank you to our sponsors, APS Payments, Kenzium, and DataSelf. You can learn more about how our sponsors work with Acumatica by going to augforums.com/sponsors. My name is Tim Rodman, and I'm coming to you live on Thursday, October 1st, 2020. This is episode number 26. Dave Munson, CEO at Saddleback Leather, sharing his Acumatica customer story. Dave, thanks for joining us. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I have been on Acumatica for a couple of years now, 2.5, I think, and we love it. And let's see, we live here in Fort Worth, outside of Fort Worth, Texas, a little town called Azle. On the GPS, when we were pulling in town, it says, "You have now arrived in Azle." And I was like, we left the armpit and now we're in the Azle of Texas. It's actually a cool place to live out in the country. I've got a wife, a wonderful, beautiful, cool wife, Suzette, and then a couple of really cool kids, 6th and 8th graders, Sella and Cross. So yeah, we live out in the country. We live in tents. We live in big safari tents. You can look up like, people go, "Oh, that's nice." We about 2,000 square feet of tents. The ceilings are about 12 feet tall, 12 feet high at the apex there, the top. And we've lived in them for a little over 5 years now. So it's kind of a drag to sleep in the wind when it's coming out of the north, we found. They're from Kenya. So, but yeah, we live out in the country, and we have a lot of fun.
You live in safari tents. Is that kind of like an event tent, or what are they like? Are they canvas?
Imagine they're like a wall tent. They're up on decks. We have hardwood floors. We have indoor plumbing. We have outdoor showers. We also have indoor showers in under tents. We have, I think, 4 bathrooms. We have heating, air conditioning. They're really, so if you look up American Safari on YouTube, American Safari Saddleback Leather, you'll see our tents. You'll go, "Oh, that's nicer than my house." They're pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. So we tend to be a little creative. So
this is the first podcast, so people won't be able to see this, but this is the first one where we've got video turned on. I can see you sitting in what looks like a leather chair there. So you're living in a tent. You got your leather chair. You're really living the business, not just running the business. The way I see it is what it seems like to me.
Yeah, a friend of mine out of England, we were talking a few days ago, and he goes, "Dave, if you could do anything you want, what would you really do? Like, I know you're doing this, but what would you really do?" And he goes, "What would bring you joy? Like, what would you really want to do?" I go, "Dude, I'm doing it. Like, I really like what I do. I mean, it's a drag, sometimes, but if you're ever doing something there was never a draggy, sucky part of the business, then you're not really doing anything significant." And so you always, I love what I do. This is what I would do if I could start all over again. So yeah, it's, we create beautiful things. Our slogan is, "They'll fight over it when you're dead." And we make functional art.
Cool.
So briefcases, suitcases, luggage, all the stuff that people aren't using right now, we make. So we have the stuff that nobody's buying because no one travels or goes to business meetings. Yeah, we sell that stuff. So we have our own factory down in Mexico, central Mexico, and we no one cares about your stuff as much as you do. So we make our own stuff. It's really nice. We have about 250 people there, making leather bags and more leather bags and wallets and belts and all that sort of thing. A really high quality We don't wholesale to anybody, so we just go straight to the consumer. So, they talk about factory direct, you see those on signs and stuff. It's like the real thing. If it costs 300, we sell it for 600. It's just the way it is. And Keystone pricing, if we were to sell it to Nordstrom's or Macy's, they've asked, then you get it 300. If it costs 300, we sell it to them for 6, they sell it for 1,200. And everyone just doubles their price. So, it's pretty much what we do. We have a fun little thing going on.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and I first noticed you guys back at the Acumatica Summit before COVID when we were in Las Vegas, and I think everyone, I know I got one. I think everyone got one of these they're kind of like a backpack bag that you all made, and I could definitely tell this was not your normal event gift at all, and it's definitely a high quality product that you put out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, that's a Hogback. So we have Saddleback, and we have Mountain Back, which is canvas and leather. It's under Saddleback. And then Hogback is pigskin, and so which is tougher than the cow skin. And it's the leather drawstrings and all. My son does that one. He's 11. He designed that one, and he loves designing. I don't know where he gets it, but he.
So an 11-year-old designed the bags that everyone got at Acumatica Summit 2020.
10-year-old actually. So,
wow.
10-year-old actually. So,
wow, that's pretty cool. How do you do that on the computer? Like, how do you design that?
No, just on a napkin. Just sketch it out. And I take a picture with my phone, and then I have our designers put it together.
That's pretty cool.
So your kids, they'll be a lot like you whether you like it or not. So you're always teaching your kids. You're always they're watching the video more than they're listening to the audio, and so they're learning how to be a husband, how to be a father, how to be a wife, or how to be a wife, a mother. They're learning from you, and so it's really important that you know that. And if your whole life is absorbed with work and trying to get people to be impressed with you, then your kids will pick that up too. And see. So that he's always watching me design stuff. And so one day he goes, "Hey, Dad, I have like 20 designs in my head. And I sketched them all out. You want to look at them?" And so I said, "Let's do it."
That's really cool. I love working with Acumatica because of the size of business that it fits into. And you just get to meet a lot of interesting people, and hearing you talk that way about your family is awesome. You're not dealing with large corporate organizations, very, very large ones, right? And I just love dealing with businesses like yours when you get into the Acumatica world. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, so one of the things we do is like we really try to have a work-life balance, and it's not just for small companies that can do that. It should be, they said, you look at the things that are like a glass, like if you drop the ball, like a rubber ball at work, you drop the ball on something else, it bounces back, you're fine. But your family is like a glass ball, and if you drop it, it'll shatter, or it can shatter, or be damaged and cracked. It'd be a lot of work to put back together. So you can hold all the other ones loosely, but hold your family tightly. So I got to have lunch with Zig Ziglar right before he died. And
wow,
it was super cool. And I said, "Hey, if everything, all your media all disappeared off the face of the earth, everything was just gone, like all your DVDs, cassettes, VHS tapes, everything was gone, all your books, and you could leave us with one book, what would you write about?" And he said, "Court your spouse, because success starts at home." And then he said, "Encourage people, everyone around you, encourage them." And then he said, "Try to help everyone around you be as successful as they can be." And if you do, then you'll have everything you ever dreamed or wanted. And
That's awesome.
and I thought, though, he said those are the three keys to success. That's what he would write about if he could leave us with one thing, with one book. And
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, so man, success starts at home. And if you have a lousy home life because you're so self-absorbed that you want everyone to praise you for being a great businessman and great leader and all of this stuff, and your family's in shambles and your kids hate you and all that sort of thing, then you're not successful at all. It's a false success. So then you're not successful at all. It's a false success. So yeah, that's what I don't do it perfectly, but I sure try.
That's awesome advice, especially these days with so many of us working from home with COVID. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so the way the business started, I'll tell you a little bit of background here on Saddleback. In 1999, I went down to teach English down in Mexico as a volunteer at a little school. And while I was there, I had a bag made. I had this idea, like I wanted a bag to carry my school books and stuff for the kids. And I had this bag. I was like, what would Indiana Jones carry? And so I had this bag in my head, and I found a guy making leather bags, and I said, hey, if I sketched out, can you make it for me? He said, yeah, see, sure, So he made it. I roughed it up, started carrying it around, and when I got back up to Oregon, where I'm from, man, everyone, 4 or 5 times a day, I got tapped on the shoulder. Hey, excuse me, sir, where can I get one of those bags? And, oh my gosh, where'd you get that bag? Oh, my husband had died for one of those bags, So I thought, hey, maybe there's a business here. So I ended up, long story, living in Juarez with my black lab Blue. We slept on the floor of a little $100 a month apartment for about 3 years. No hot water. But all the money I was saving, I was depositing into the bank account of this father and son further south in Mexico. And they would make me bags, send them up on the bus. I'd go to the bus station in Juarez, and which was anyway the most dangerous city on earth. And they would, I would take them 3 or 4 bags over to El Paso. I'd go use a friend's mechanic shop at night when he wasn't using it, and I'd sell them on eBay. And from 2003 to 2006, I was doing that. In there, I had a federale sent to kill me for something. It was a kind of a long story. It was just all around good. We became friends. It was all around good. It's a good story. I met my wife on MySpace in 2006, and had a baby about 9 months and 15 minutes later. And after we got married, and we just started a factory in 2008 down in León, Guanajuato, central Mexico. I have 300 or 400 tanneries in the town. Some are little one drum places, and some are, the best ones in North America. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We really enjoy what we do.
Curious what you were doing before that, career-wise.
Yeah, I was a youth pastor.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I have a degree in theology and Greek. So that was my
awesome.
That was my that's my training in business is pray really
awesome.
hard. I was like, oh, I knew how
sounds
to
like pretty good training.
So, I can't remember that.
That's awesome.
So that was my my training. I got a D- in accounting, and I just thought I'd be working with youth all the time. And so yeah, I loved it. I loved that, and then I started doing this, and I love it too. So it's pretty cool.
So you got some traction going, and now you got a factory going. And since you sell direct, did you do an e-commerce website, or how did you start getting into the technology? Maybe I should say, how did you start feeling the need for the technology side of things?
Yeah, so I was just doing eBay, and selling a lot of bags. I didn't have any competition. Everyone else had zippers, and we don't use any zippers or breakable parts on our bags. And just use thick, solid, really good looking, thread stitching, and so I didn't have a lot of competition. So eBay was easy enough. And then a friend of mine made a website for me, and kind of a homemade job. And then I hired a friend from Portland who made me a professional website, and sales went up like 30% overnight. And then I hired my business coach, which you're never supposed to hire a business coach, a consultant. It's like against the code of ethics for them. But he did it anyway, and it mashed up. I got took big time by him, but he said, "Hey, we got to get onto what's called an ERP." And so we got onto Netsuite, which was one of the worst decisions we'd ever made. It was like a fiery dumpster on wheels rolling down the hill towards a cliff. It was horrible. We were on it for almost 7 long years. It felt like 70 years. And I mean, almost put us out of business. It was so expensive and so clunky, and no one wanted to use it. It was not user-friendly at all, and all this proprietary way of doing all the programming and workflows, and it was horrible in every way and anything. We tried Magento, and they're like, "We don't know what's happening. This is weird," and just lies and junk, and it was a horrible disaster. And no wonder there's a big lawsuit brewing there going on right now with Larry Ellison and Oracle and all that stuff with NetSuite. But so we found Acumatica. I was talking to a really big CEO. He said not to say his name. I said, "All right, just kind of on the down low, like, who do you recommend? We're looking for ERP." He said, "Check out Acumatica. They're pretty much turning the business world on their ear with a lot of their pricing, and they're supposed to be really, really good." So I got some demos, and we signed up, and night and day. Now, of course, leaving NetSuite was like leaving a bitter girlfriend. Oh yeah, if I can't have you, nobody will.
So like trying to get off you a little bit too, right?
Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So we had to sign up for another year of pain for NetSuite because just to get our data out. It was so, and we got great bit from here and there, and we're still missing a lot of stuff. We couldn't get it all out, and it made it so sticky to leave. But yeah, so we got a NetSuite. It's just for the first 18 months was.
What year was that? So when you made the move, about what year was that?
That was end of 2017. So,
okay.
Yeah,
almost
all
3 years?
2018, all 2019, and almost 3 years now. So,
okay.
In fact, no, it would be, in October. Yeah, is today our anniversary? 3 years? I think it is. So.
Okay, cool.
Wow, that's cool.
That's
great.
That's really cool.
We're here. Yeah.
We did not plan that at all.
I'm gonna go get drunk. This is great.
Not plan that at all.
I'm gonna go get drunk. This is great. And so that was not really. So that was that was first 18 months were a little rough. Just like wearing a pair of hiking boots, you don't go hiking the Incan Trail with a brand new pair of boots. You get blisters and uncomfortable. They had to break in, so it took us 18 months to get it to where we really love it a lot. And that's in the ERP, I guess. You have to adjust it. We found for NetSuite, for Acumatica, that you'll have like maybe 7 steps to the financials. So everyone can use the financials, but for us, we only needed 3 or 4 steps. So we cut out some other steps along the way. Just kind of slowly made it ours. So
that's a great leather analogy right there. You got to break it in. You got to let it form to the business more, and it takes time.
Yeah. So we connected to Magento at first through Kinsium. And then we left that, and recently we've been on for 1 year, we've been on with BigCommerce. And oh my gosh, it's fantastic. We love BigCommerce. So
I'm curious on that because I haven't done a lot with e-commerce. How did it compare pricing wise, and what are some of the reasons why you made the switch?
BigCommerce is about half the price as Magento. We had the Enterprise Edition. With BigCommerce, it's all kind of native within Acumatica. All of our content and data and everything's already, all their shipping and emails, everything's all within Acumatica already. So when people do stuff on BigCommerce, it's just linked right there kind of perfectly. We don't have to work on updates, and whenever Magento has updates, we don't have to update, all this stuff. And so not having to do updates, not doing a lot of fixes on little, modules that we have, it's all just built in together. It's really nice.
I'm curious real quick on that, comparing that to NetSuite. So one thing I've heard that NetSuite is really good at is that their e-commerce and ERP is one thing. From your perspective, how it feels to you, even though you've got two different things, Acumatica and BigCommerce, comparing that to NetSuite, which one felt like a tighter fit between the e-commerce and the ERP?
Oh, it feels about the same.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to go with NetSuite, you have to use SuiteCommerce Advanced. They'll highly pressure you. When we tried to do NetSuite back end, Magento front end, it just didn't work. They don't work together. We tried to implement like Yachtpost review software and different Amazon shopping, different sorts of Google shopping stuff. It just doesn't work with NetSuite and SuiteCommerce Advanced. So it just wouldn't connect. People were like, this is the weirdest thing. We connect all the time and we can't connect with this company called NetSuite. So the other thing with NetSuite is they would offer like this, had this cool car commercial, and people's hair's flying in the wind and everyone's happy, and you get it, and you go, I wanted a windshield. Can I have a windshield? Like, you forgot to put it in. And they go, oh, you wanted a windshield. Well, here's some goggles that come hanging on the stick shift, and you go, and so you have to pay. Oh, that's $1,900 a month for a windshield. Oh, you wanted tires. Oh, you wanted a steering wheel. Oh, you wanted a radio. Oh, you wanted brakes. Oh, well, you didn't tell us that. So you end up having to do all these upgrades and deal with all these third-party vendors, and next thing you know, you're at $230,000 a year.
That's hilarious.
And just for upkeep, I had 14 people on staff just to keep it running.
Wow.
And then whenever you did an upgrade or you changed or added a module on something, like we wanted reviews, 5-star reviews, 4-star, 3-star, and they're like, oh, we didn't know you wanted that. That's going to be this a month. And so we did that. We had to pay it. And then I said, hey, I want numbers next to the stars. Oh, that's going to be more. I was like, and so it was just horrible, absolutely horrible situation we had. So
wow, that really fits what I've heard about NetSuite just overall, in that it's very much a black box, and that if you want to do it, you can flip their switch and pay to flip their switch, but you can't just go in and make your own switch like you can in Acumatica to do something specific that you might want to do. That's interesting.
And then their process, workflow sort of thing for programmers. All of our programmers hated NetSuite and bugged me all the time. Can we please not do the next upgrade and just move off? Please, can we switch to something else? This is horrible. We hate it. We're not getting anything done because we're working on the workflow and the sandbox. And of course, sandbox was ridiculously expensive. And so, yeah, anyway, it was just hard. So we're really happy that we're off of NetSuite. And then Acumatica is like fantastic. We really they're very responsive, and we work with Kinsium, who's very responsive on a lot of stuff. And yeah, we just like where we are now.
So when you first started, at least Acumatica, was there anything that you had to customize, or any third parties that you use, anything that was unique outside of the standard Acumatica?
Yeah, ShipStation. We use ShipStation for our shipping out of our warehouse, and we use NetStock for our inventory, which is really fantastic. A lot of, for purchasing, how much do we need, and when we're running low and we reorder and all that sort of thing. It's really nice. We don't like the CRM for Acumatica for customer service, doing customer service. Sales, I guess it would be fine, but everyone's already in a HubSpot. So everyone is like, yeah, no, I have the free version of HubSpot. And customer service, NetSuite was terrible too, and it's just a lot of drop downs, clunky. And HubSpot is just a beautiful thing for customer service. It's all connected. Someone emails in, chats, calls, automatically all of their information shows up, all their history. We don't have to look up things. It's really just a nice system to bolt on in. And actually, Acumatica uses HubSpot. So I think
I didn't realize that. Interesting. I think you said that's what you were working on right before we got on this call, right? You must have been in HubSpot.
I was in HubSpot answering customer emails. Yeah.
Then there's some integration between HubSpot and Acumatica. Are you using that as well?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Whatever is the native stuff. I don't dig into that deep into the weeds there, but.
And you needed 14 people to run NetSuite. What about now with Acumatica? Did that number come down?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's significantly lower.
Yeah. Yeah, 2. That's 2 people. So, and we outsource now with Kinsium for our support. Any kind of support we have, which is super affordable, and they're good guys. So Raul there, and yeah, so we outsource most everything else, but it's not much.
That's very cool. So it seems like you've been running on it for years to the day, and at this point, is it things just humming along, or is there any additional things that you're looking to do in the future with Acumatica?
Yeah, I've got some special plans for Acumatica. They don't know it yet. So, no, we're going to be doing a lot more customer-centric stuff. So, yeah, our manufacturing. So we're moving our manufacturing in Mexico onto Acumatica. They just acquired at the last conference. They announced acquiring the manufacturing software that they had been working with for a long time, but they finally just bought it. And I talked to some some journalists who said that they've written about that software and other manufacturing software, and they said it's really a good one. So we're gonna plug that in at the factory, and get that going too.
Awesome. Great timing on that, because they just released the first version of 2020 R2, which now includes manufacturing in the core, so you don't have to deal with the outside customization projects like you used to. So perfect timing on that. That's great.
Yeah, we're excited. We want to go all in. So.
But it sounds like for the most part, it's running the way you want it to run. It's not a dumpster on fire rolling down the hill.
Right, with squeaky wheels. Yeah. No, and by the way, NetSuite, they have some really nice people there. I mean, really, really first class, really nice folks there. It's just, I went to Magento, and when I went to Magento, they said, yeah, like 30 of us have left and gone to Magento from NetSuite. They said, we just felt bad about selling NetSuite. So, and they were, had been doing, I guess, Suite Commerce Advanced or something like that. But yeah, we're pleased with Acumatica.
That's cool. Yeah, to be fair to NetSuite, I think they, especially now that they're acquired by Oracle, they are a good fit, especially for much larger organizations when you get into the multi-hundreds of millions a year in annual revenue. But they've just kind of outgrown the mid-market, in my opinion, and it's just not good for a business of your size. So it makes sense that things are working well for you on Acumatica.
Yeah, well, I've talked to big businesses too who were on NetSuite, and they had the same story I did.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Couldn't wait to get off. Everyone I've talked to, now and then someone will call, hey, I've got someone listed you as a reference, one of your old programmers. Can I talk to you about them for a job on NetSuite? And yeah, sure. So the last lady, I was like, so how's that NetSuite working out for you? She goes, oh, our implementation's already been a year, and we still can't get it going. And so we're hiring this guy because, hopefully he can help us. But she said, we just can't wait for 2 more years to hit before we're off. Like, they haven't even got it going yet, and they hate it already. I said, well, you have 2 years of hell coming to you, just that you might want to look at. But we like Acumatica, so when you're ready to go. Anyway, but they're trying to make the best of it for the next 2 years until they can get off of it.
I'm interested too you mentioned on the financial side, you cut out a couple of steps. What you recall, just generally what you mean by that when you're implementing Acumatica?
No, it's just what my CFO told me.
Okay.
Chewbacca talked about it too. They're a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on NetSuite. They're on Acumatica now. They just had to kind of customize it to what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's things we just learned. Oh, this is a lot faster. This is a better way of doing it. So it's kind of one size fits all, and then you adjust it down to your size or up to.
Right.
So we're doing customizations with gift certificates, and apparently there's a difference between gift certificates and gift cards. I didn't know that, and how they act as like on your accounts payable versus, and how long they stay on the books, and all this accounting stuff, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just because we do online retail, purely, so
right.
It's kind of the one thing they liked about NetSuite, which we had it for almost 7 years, so we'd been customizing the financials. So everyone said they liked NetSuite's financials.
Mm-hmm.
The thing we had about it that we like about Acumatica is that everyone suites financials.
Mm-hmm.
The thing we had about it that we like about Acumatica is that it's very user friendly. It's easy to get around, easy to drop downs. It just makes sense. It's just real intuitive. And
right.
When we found with NetSuite, no one really understood it. The programmers did. They get it. People who can sync the remote controls all into one and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they can check their tire pressure through their through their TV kind of thing. Those guys, those guys love NetSuite. Right? like
propeller hats.
What's that?
Propeller hats.
Yes. And those guys, yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Those guys like NetSuite, but the rest of us, what we do is we end up using Google Docs, Google Sheets, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, and I mean, all of our stuff's everywhere else because we don't really remember how to put it in there. And And so you never really have everything complete in there because it's so hard to use.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You mentioned that. You mentioned at the beginning that you sell all the stuff that people aren't buying nowadays. I think I saw something on social media. Were you doing something with masks or something related to the virus? How has things changed for you all with COVID going on?
Yeah. So in March, the Texas governor said, hey, and President Trump and a lot of places, Cuomo, and we're like, hey, if you can make PPE, personal protective equipment, gowns, masks, face shields, head covers, whatever thing to keep the virus off of our doctors and nurses. If you can make that stuff, we desperately need it. And that's what Italy didn't have because China bought it all up from everyone, and then this hit. And like they were preparing for it. So they bought everyone's PPE up, and then they held on to it and then started gouging prices. And that's what New York Times said. And I think it was New York Times. And so anyway, no one had any PPE. And so in Italy, all the doctors and nurses were getting sick and couldn't come in. And so there's the streets full of dead people, ice rinks and morgues and all that sort of thing. So they said, if you can sew or make any PPEs at all, please help us. That was at March 22nd or so. And so we got on it, talked to my wife. She said, yeah, let's do it. So we stopped making leather stuff and started making isolation gowns. Like the gowns.
You completely paused the leather stuff.
We completely paused leather stuff. Started making face masks because no one had face masks. I started making and then gowns. That they would put your sleeves through and they tie it in the back. We went down to the medical supply place and got some gowns and just made them, changed them a little bit, put some side ties on them and that sort of thing. We made too many because as soon as the floodgates opened from China, everyone bought them from China, these disposable gowns. They like never decompose. It's a polypropylene. And yeah, so we got stuck with a bunch of them. If you know of anyone who wants isolation gowns, really high quality, breathable, nice, water resistant isolation gowns, you let me know. And I have a lot of them. So we did that for about 3 months, just to try to help out. And then we went back to making leather things again. 4 months. We did it about 4 months, and then went back to making leather stuff again. So we started running out of stock and everything. So we knew we had to get back to leather. But yeah, it's been that was a really good thing, and it helped us. We sold a lot of them and helped a lot of people, and it wasn't a total selfish thing, like, hey, I made a bunch of money on that, but it just helped. It was just a good thing all around to do, and we can sew really well. So we have all these sewing machines. So I said, hey, and we usually sew like heavy, thick, beefy leather things, but cotton works too. So
that's cool that you did that. You definitely strike me as a do the right thing kind of a person. Now, obviously, you still have to run a profitable business, but when those things come together, that's pretty cool.
I was in Africa once, and this old man said, Dave, no one ever regrets doing a good thing. It's really true. No one ever regrets doing a good thing. And so I'll never say, man, why did we do that PPE? We never should have done it. Or, man, I never should have sponsored that kid in Rwanda. What was I thinking? Like, man, I never should have helped that old lady with her flat tire. Dang it. No one ever regrets doing a good thing. Of course, you might have the example, like I tried to help the lion to get out of the trap, and then he ate me. That's
sure. Oh, that's great advice. Well, hey, really appreciate the time today. I know you're a busy guy running a business and carving out some time to tell your Acumatica story. I really appreciate it. Before we wrap it up, any other things that you wanted to add?
Let's see. Yeah. Here's a really good book I read the other day. It was written by a pastor, but it applies to everybody. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It's one of the best books I've read in years. Came out in October. It's The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and it is fantastic. And if you're a reader of books, that one and How to Win Friends and Influence People are the two books that you need to read. Influence People are the two books that you need to read. Oh my gosh, just about putting your phone down. And how do you do it? Even tips on how to slow down, how to not be so busy and put your emphasis on the right things. And we all tend to kind of get busy, and then we end up just on our phones and laying in bed and not reading books anymore and not spending time with the right people and not having good conversations, and because we're so busy and we hate. I got bored the other day. I hadn't been bored in like 17 years. I mean, yeah, a few times in church, like super boring sermon or something like that, but I haven't been bored for like longer than like a half hour in 17 years. And I got bored and I was like, but you know what I did? I put my phone away and I said, I'm not going to go to my phone. I'm not. And so then I was just bored. And I thought, this is weird. So I read a book. It's like on a Saturday, and I read a book. I started reading. I got tired of reading, and I was like, now what do I do? It was great. It was great. Being bored is not bad, but we always want to keep filling our time with going back to the news app, and reading some more news, and looking for things, and then we're checking social and checking it. Dude, being bored is good. It's not bad. And then all of a sudden, good things happen. So anyway, just a little FYI, it's okay to be bored. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I love that. I'm gonna link to both of those, and I'm also gonna link another book called Focus that my friend Arlene Welty told me about, and he's got some rules in there for learning how to focus. And one of the ending in line, don't check the phone, because what you're doing is you're actually losing your ability to focus. And I've been thinking that exactly what you were just talking about a lot with my kids doing online school right now, because they're on these Zoom calls, but my son especially loves clicking. He's just clicking all over the place. And like, man, we're just producing a generation of further, I'm not distracted. We're already distracted, but further distracted people. I'm going to read those books. Very interesting.
Yeah, hopefully, if anyone takes anything away from this besides NetSuite's, like, I hope that it burns in hell. All the articles of incorporation, software, and stuff like that. But like the hard drives, that sound. But like, not the people, but like that. Man, there's a whole heck of a lot more to life than work. Spend time with the right people. Get off the phone. Go look at the phone. Go look at the clouds. Stop being in a hurry. Drive in the slow lane. I mean, stop. Yeah, be bored. Go be bored. Go buy an axe and chop down a tree somewhere, a dead tree, and look on YouTube how to sharpen it. Grunsford's Brooks are nice axes out of Sweden, and then teach your kids how to sharpen an axe and watch it on YouTube how you do it. And then how do you chop down the tree, the hinge and all the wood hinge on the sides, and it's great. Go do it. Go do stuff like that. It's great.
I love that. I can't think of a better way to wrap up a podcast episode on an ERP system, because that's what an ERP system is supposed to do for you, right? It's supposed to free you up to go home on time and have dinner. At least that's what motivates me to do a good job on an ERP system. So that's great. I love that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's supposed to free you up to have more time.
Not to make more, to me, not to make tons and tons more money or make it super, super more efficient so you're busier and busier. It's supposed to free you up to go home on time, make you do your job better so you can leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, here's one. If you try to be done eating by 6 o'clock, that I give my brother and I did it for a few months, and now we're trained to try to have finished dinner by 6 o'clock. And we had it 5 days a week that if it turned to 6:01 and you were putting something in your mouth, you had to stop. If you didn't, then whoever messed up had to give the other one $100. And we didn't give each other money, and we, stuck to our words, and, high integrity, and we didn't lie. But it forced me to start coming home leave the office at 5:15 or 5 o'clock, 5:05, so I could get home and eat. And if you forget, and you're just hungry. But it was a good training to start getting home early. And I found out the business didn't suffer. Instead of going home at 6:15 or 5:45, get home at 6:30, and So yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh, that's awesome. Dave, this has been a joy. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me, Tim. Sorry we didn't do this sooner.
Oh, no problem. It was worth the wait. Well worth the wait.
Well, good. Well, yeah. Wish you the best of success.
Thank you. You as well.
Or I'm sure we'll meet up at one of the next conferences. So
yeah, maybe you have an 8-year-old who can design a bag for the next one.
Maybe. All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. See you later.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for now. We'll catch you on the next episode of augforums.com.